Welcome everybody. Today is November 5th, 2024. Hannah City Village Council meeting. If everybody please stand for Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May be seated. First item up on the agenda this evening is Nate Hendricks with Genesis. Go ahead, Nate.
Well, Village Trustee, Mayor. So my name is Nathan Hendricks. I'm with Genesis Group Consulting. I am your consultant for your municipal electric accounts. So if you would, I had a handout there, the one that has your logo on the front of it.
Blue and green.
Yep. The bottom right-hand corner, it says actual total savings. So if you compare the last on your contract term, you compare what your contract term was versus what Ameren was, that's your savings. So that's what you have saved in the past, roughly 16 to 17, 18 months, depending on where we land as of today, right? So,
and just to make sure it's clear, that's on the accounts that we are using.
That's correct. That's 10 of your municipal accounts that the village manages. On those 10 accounts alone, with physical pulled usage, you saved $8,200 versus Ameren's direct rates.
Yeah.
So that's obviously it's hard to see the difference when you're not paying Ameren, but ultimately that's where you happy savings, because that was pretty awesome there. If we move forward, up in the blue, up on line item, I believe it was line item 4, they'd give a 7-month term at a physical rate of 6,637. That savings based on between now and when that term is up, which is only 7 months, your savings is roughly going to be $4,300. So if we take that out even a year, the savings is roughly going to be the same. But what we don't know is come next June, we don't know what Ameren's rates are going to be, because Ameren's rates get established roughly April, May timeframe when the MISO auction takes place. In June, we all find out where Ameren's rates will be, and then we move forward from there. But roughly, if we're managing it correctly, your savings should be about the same. I'm, however, not going to recommend that at this time. From my understanding, you guys may go solar on one of your locations potentially. So if that's the case, if you flip it over, this is called day-ahead index. I'm offering this because it probably makes the most sense moving forward. The last 15 to 18 months, the index has actually beat even the rate that I had already signed you guys up on last year. So even though you saved $8,000, if you look down there, an additional savings on line item 5 at the bottom in blue, you would have saved an additional $4,400 if we did index. So what does that tell me? That tells me the day-ahead index is even a better route to take moving forward. Now, it's all hypothetical because that could move at any moment. But if it does, the plus side about this program is you're not locked in. So at any time the market starts creeping up, we get you out of the day-ahead index and we lock you into a fixed rate for whatever we need to, whether it's 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, until the market starts dwindling down, and then we get you back into a day-ahead index rate. So roughly, if we did the same thing, all contracted month savings, roughly, if we look at this compared to what your new rate will be, which, if you turn it over, that 6,637, or even if you go out 19 months, because that's what I compared it to, a 19-month rate, your savings is still going to be a lot better than if you went the all fixed in route. So my suggestion would be do a day ahead index. You're not really locked into a contract. There is a day ahead index contract, but it's movable. You can get in and out of it anytime you want to get out of it.
So if we vote tonight, what are we approving?
Nothing tonight. So I would send you the contract tomorrow, because these rates are obviously distinguished of as of today. They reset tomorrow. And as long as they're at or below where we're currently providing, then obviously I would say move forward. If they're above, I'd say sit still till they dwindle back down to these rates. But I don't think that's going to be the case. Tonight, I would say what you want to do is vote on if you want to do either an index or a fixed all-in product like you're used to doing. Those are the two things you guys need to determine. I'm suggesting doing index. The market's proven it's another 50% off practically, if you ask me. And that's just where it's been the last 15 to 18 months. And yes, that could change. There is a risk there.
So
It
what,
can change.
as of today, what's the current rate? Is it the one at the bottom?
So your current rate as of today, if you look over on line item 10 on the front where your logo is, your current rate is 6972. Ameren's 2024 rate is 8967. Their 2023 rate was 9892. So it's come down since even last year.
And
Which makes complete sense because aggregations even went down from last year.
and if we were using the day index, the rate would be what?
So right now, if you look on the large side and look all the way down on the estimated index all in, so it's next to, see the $20,000 column where it's in green, in A, in column A? Go to your left. Those are the monthly rates every month that are on average of what you would be paying. 0.05493 all the way down to the 0.06175. That's the index rates, which are phenomenal. I mean, you're saving over a penny and a half easily if you do index. And again, that's from the last 15 to 18 months. If the market goes up, we would suggest let's get out of that. Now, you would have to make a motion to some point or agree that somebody's going to have to make that determining factor. So if I come back to you and say, you guys need to move within the next month, I would think that you'd want to put it on your agenda relatively fast to get that moved if you need to vote as a whole versus having somebody dedicated to make that move, is what I tell people that are on index rates, monthly index rates. But if you want to make the most or save the most, that's the best way to go right now, index rates. It's going to save you, another $3,000-4,000 in a 12-month usage.
So unlike the contract we're on now, there'd be no end until things changed and you recommended we do something.
It'd be the same thing you're on now, right? You would pick a term, you'd be locked into that term. Those would be what your savings could be. We don't know beyond 7. That's why I'm only proposing 7 months, because that's the only thing I'm up against is Ameren. We don't know Ameren beyond 7 months.
No, but if we went the day rate, there's no term.
There's no actual term, no. You're
So if
signing
we
it
voted to do that, we would just stay on it until you came to us and
and
said,
say
change.
it's time to check, right? That's correct. And we get back on it potentially, right? So if the index starts to favor better than a fixed all-in rate, we would get you back on the index program. But yeah, so you could do short-term, grab rates at all times. So if you did 6-month index, the market goes up, you could do a 3-month fixed term, go back to index for another 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 12, 18, whatever it may be. But right now it's been 15 to 18 months of really good index rates. So that's what we're recommending at this time. So you guys just have to make the decision and then we'll go from there. So I guess any questions, concerns?
It's not a downside, but the one thing it will impact that you and I talked about is the solar savings was based upon our original rates. We're saving money off those.
That's correct.
So the 10-quarter payoff might be an 11-quarter payoff or whatever. Or probably not even that. Maybe
Yeah, because
10-quarter plus a month or whatever, because what we're actually paying is lower than the assumptions we made on the loan.
that's correct. Because 99.9% of most solar providers will only provide you the Ameren detailed utility rate. They won't provide you with a ground-hog rate, which is what you're currently seeing right now.
I mean, it's still a wonderful program.
It's still great. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, your realized savings is just going to take longer to get there because you're already saving money.
Right.
They're not taking that into account. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah. So what would a motion look like, I guess, to move to the average?
The head index, yep. That is where I would recommend you going. I mean, just because you can get in and out of it, as frequently as you need to.
And our current contract is up?
Your current contract is up as we speak this month, so rolling in next month, we just got to determine what you want to do from this point forward.
I'd make a motion to enter into the day ahead index and then reevaluate as the numbers change.
Right.
I'll second it.
A motion by Pearson, second by Johnson. Any further discussion, comments? And we'll roll call that. Weaver,
Yes.
Miller,
Yeah.
Pearson,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Sidak,
Yes.
Bricksell, yes. Motion carries.
Nathan, any action items for?
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll get the contract ready as of tomorrow, once the market releases. If it's at or below where we see today's index power rates, I will send that over to you for an e-signature, and then we'll just go from there, as long as you're going to be in the office tomorrow, obviously.
I know.
And then that's what we'll do tomorrow. If the market is up and it's above where index rates are, meaning it's not safe to do it, then I would just say, hey, hold off a day or two and then we'll refigure. But since you've already accepted it, we'll make sure that it's at or below index power pricing. So, sound good?
Any more questions for Nathan? Anybody? Well, appreciate your time. Appreciate the.
Of course, yep, anytime. I appreciate your guys' time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Everybody should have a copy of our October 15th meeting minutes. They've been so dubiously prepared by our clerk.
Make a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes as submitted. Second.
Motion by Pearson, second by Sidak. Any changes or corrections? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Treasurer's report.
The treasurer's report's a little bit thicker than normal. There are 4 payroll sheets instead of 2. One because we have 3 weeks instead, and also because there's board pay payroll in there to be approved. So, and also the Illinois Funds interest statement is on the back of it for you to see.
What was the number?
$8,341.
Could you speak to this health insurance reimbursement I'm seeing on everybody's payroll?
That is for, we have,
Spouses.
well, the guys have health insurance through their spouses. And so instead of them being on our health insurance, we pay them a reimbursement so they stay on their spouse's insurance.
Something we did the end of last year when we did the new health insurance. We did the basically step in to help with the insurance, and it saves us money because we're not paying since we went to doing the full insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve the treasurer's report and pay all outstanding warrants.
A motion by Sidak, second by Pearson. Any further discussion? Comments? Roll call. Miller? Pearson?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Sidak?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, Cassandra. And just so you guys know, if you didn't look at the last sheet, our ending balance as the end of October is $2,404,738.41 in the Illinois Municipal Funds.
Yummy.
Yummy. For your tummy. Engineers report, did you get anything?
I asked him for an update today. I didn't get anything back, but I do know several people reported that the surveyors were out on the sidewalk. So at least the survey work was going to be done. I did communicate with both Casey's and the car wash to let them know that they were going to be out there so they weren't caught off guard. But that's all I know on engineering.
Okay. Bring this down to the attorney's report. Donna?
Hi. We have given Brian the final revision for Title IV for your review, for his review, your review.
You received an
And,
email with that. I'm sorry, Sean, to interrupt you. I forwarded that on to the board, so they now have it as well.
okay. And so, yeah, I've just let us know if you need any edits. And right now, that's
Good now.
is done of the code, discuss the highway as far as that's concerned with the remediation of the petroleum and things that are leaking under the right of way of the highway.
Yeah, so
I think that's all I have.
we received, Tony's got it, there's a letter. Basically, there was, and Sean, if I say anything incorrectly, let me know, but there was determined that on the refuel site that there was a tank that had leaked back in the day, and they had to do some work to take care of that. And we're being asked to sign an agreement that says what, Shauna?
That it won't be used for potable water sources, drilling wells, or any other method. And the IEPA has accepted the last ordinance that was passed as far as prohibiting that use of the groundwater. And this agreement is that the city won't, or the village won't do anything, and they will keep watching it until it is considered no other necessary remediation is required.
So I guess the question is, does the board need to vote on it for Tony to sign it, or can Tony just sign it because?
I think she froze up again.
Shauna, you still there?
He can sign it, but
Shauna, you're breaking up quite a bit.
when you're ready, do that. I don't know. I've had kind of bad reception today. Is that better?
Better.
So if Tony signs it, all we're saying is that we're not going to use that for groundwater or for potable water, that area.
Breaking up that time. And I didn't
Up again.
bring the finished copy with me. Could you repeat that, Brian? I'm sorry.
I guess what I'm asking is does the board need to vote for Tony to sign the agreement, or can we just sign the agreement? Because if he has to vote, we're going to have to do it at the next meeting because we didn't have it on this meeting's agenda.
And that's fine. Like I said, he could sign it and you could hold on to it and then vote on it at the next meeting, but you do need to vote on it before you hand it back to them.
I will add it to the agenda for the next meeting then.
Okay. And that's all I have.
19th.
So is that something that has to be renewed every 10 years, 8 years, something? 'Cause that was a long time ago. That was the problem.
So, if I remember right, when that first came up and they came to refuel, we passed an ordinance. What was the ordinance? Do you remember the year? The ordinance number, Shauna?
The last amending ordinance was 2011. The first one was in 2005.
Okay. And they're saying that ordinance still governs this issue. So we don't have to do anything new with an ordinance. And all we're saying is we're agreeing with that refuel is that the plan is being accepted, the EPA, everybody loves it, it's all good, and they'll keep monitoring it until it goes away and doesn't show any more signs. So to answer Eric's question, they'll keep monitoring it until they don't get any registers of anything being a problem. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
So what I'll do is I'll add it to the
And
agenda, the meeting on the 19th, since we have to vote on it.
Okay.
And are you communicating back with the consultant?
Yes, if you are okay with,
Yeah.
the ordinance the way it is and,
So,
okay, yes, I will get back to him.
so if you give that back to me, then I'll put it with the next agenda.
Yeah. I need another page. That's right.
You need what? Oh, you need a new page?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll reprint it.
Thank you, Shauna. Administrative report, Brian?
So you have a sheet in your deck. Just wanted to cover a couple of things. First thing is it's not on this list, but I've been really happy with Nathan and the work Genesis has done. In the last few years, when we signed up for the aggregation, we've signed up and stayed in the one with Peoria and East Peoria and so forth. And I think it's been fine for us. But the people we're dealing with are in New York or New Jersey, or it's harder to get a response and so forth. And I think Nathan's proven himself. All I'm saying is next time when we rebid it, he bid it last time, but I think we should give him serious consideration next time. As far as the code book, I just wanted to give you an update. So we went from, I can't remember, it was maybe 15 titles down to 7. Administration we already have done and it's been approved. Zoning is Title 2 and we're going to do it last because it's the most difficult. Title 3, vehicles, traffic, and parking, we're going to vote on tonight. Title 4 is the one I just emailed you today, and that's kind of all things residence and residential property. Title 5 would be all things business. Title 6 is going to be the public infrastructure stuff that's kind of between the gray area that's between us and them. So who owns the right-of-ways? What if a sidewalk gets damaged? What if all that kind of stuff that's kind of in between, and make sure those rules are well established. And then we'll have a Title 7, which is permits and fees. We've used most of our budget money already to do the ones that we've done. The good news is when these are done, we've done it in a way where we've made it simpler. We've got everything covered, and we didn't include anything that gets changed often so that we don't have to go in and update the code book. It's kind of all the static rules. I mean, there'll be changes to it, but we didn't put like water prices in the code book when they used to be in the past, and every year we'd have to update the code book because the water prices change or whatever. So we made those changes as well. And then there'll be some key ordinances like water prices and other things that people will want to have access to. And once we get the code book done, we'll make sure that those are made public so people have access to that information as well. But that's been a big project, but I think once it's said and done, it's going to make our lives a whole lot easier. You probably saw the communication where Homefield Energy bought out Energy Harbor, which is who our aggregation is with. Nothing's changing but the name and the company, so nothing really to report on there. Title 4 that you got today has in it both rental property registration and vacant property registration. That we'll be asking people who have those properties to register them once a year so that we have record of who has them. There is a fee, but it's minor. I think what we end up with $50 on the rental property and 100 on the vacant.
Yeah.
So make sure you look at that in Title 4, and if you have any challenges or concerns with that, let us know. We'll probably do that in the summer months when it's slow. We got holiday bonuses coming up. We got to update the employee handbook to be in sync with the administrative portion of the code book. Cassandra's working on that. Staff's working on getting their annual harassment training done by the end of the year. So those are just some things I thought you might be wanted to be aware of.
That's it?
That's it.
Any questions for Brian? You can go into committee reports, Mr. Pearson.
Yes, sir. A little bit of news. Cassandra and Brian met with the Congressman's office again. They're working on checking more into the IAAW pricing increase. Did they have any, like, if they found anything out or anything yet, or they're just still doing some?
What she told us is that they were going to contact both entities and ask for a written explanation as to why the prices were going up so much for the people within the district, not just us, but everybody within the district, so that they could. And then once they saw the justification, then they'd have an understanding of whether or not their district's voters were seeing any benefit from, those increases. And then from there, they were going to write a letter to both entities. And then also the ICC challenged the Illinois Commerce Commission if he feels like his constituents aren't seeing value from that, to make sure that people know that. So,
Yeah, I'd be interested to know what that value is from the last time.
Yeah. Well, she's got both increases.
And then gave us a questionnaire for the water tower grant. And is this something that is new, or something that we missed before? Or is this?
This was, Tony had reached out to his office about whether or not there was other grants that we could have money on. This was the one that if we got it, we would pay 20% of the total cost.
These are CPFs that are done through Congress. So community project funding is what they're called, CPFs. So, depending on who controls what part of it and everything depends on how much gets granted and how much gets approved. So
our piece would go into a bundled package that would go in front of Congress. And then if we got approved, then that would be an option. But
then we can, whatever's not paid for, then we could take around and use an EPA loan with whatever forgiveness they want to give for that, for the remainder of it.
Okay.
So this is separate from the EPA loan. It's another option to help us find maybe some additional funding.
Yeah, because it doesn't sound like it's an either or. It can be a combo.
Yeah. Yep.
And working on finalizing the tax levy, and that will be for a vote at the next meeting.
I think is it done?
Yeah, it's done.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so we'll have that on the next agenda.
Wasn't it?
Huh?
That is all I have.
Anything under planning and zoning, Brian?
No.
Okay. Sanitary sewer, Mr. Chris Johnson.
Yes, sir. Couple updates for the Lagoon Solar Project. The contractor was to come to the lagoon to test the anchors for the array. And the installation for that is expected to begin this month. And I wanted to check with you, Brian. Originally, we were thinking the racking material was going to be delivered today, weather permitting. Did that come in?
Yep.
So that is it for the Lagoon Solar Project. I have nothing else under sanitary or sewer.
Water?
Got a lot of stuff on water. I'm sure you guys all saw the First Street water main construction that's there. So essentially what that was there was a 2-inch pipe there. There was, I believe, 2 leaks or ruptures in the last month. Let me see. It would be Ryan, Tony, and I have received an email on, was that Monday?
Yeah.
Monday, we got an emergency EPA permit. So just for an urgent repair, you only have 60 days once you get those to get the project concluded. I might be wrong on that. I thought
you're right. You're right. You're right.
The estimates, which are included in your packet, are approximately $55,000. A little bit higher than we thought originally. I think originally you said 50,000, but it looks like the numbers worked out to about 55.
Part of the reason that was is they decided to do, and I'm outside of my element here, but live taps, I guess, so they don't have to turn the water off to the school in order to do the repairs. So it was a little bit more expensive to do that, not have to shut them down for a day or two.
Because of the daycare.
Yeah, because of the daycare.
So the main thing we need to do on that is to approve the actual spending tonight. And we're hoping the street to be back up and operational by Friday. The other thing, the PV.
Just real quick, That $55,000, we have $183,000 in the account where we would pull that money from. So we've got capital savings, and we're putting in a 6-inch pipe, so we probably needed to replace it anyway. And we're closing the loop at Elbert, so rather than it being a dead end, it'll be back into the full loop, which is good. So just a couple other things.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate it. This is a beast. You guys have all seen the packet. This is referring to the PV water update. I'm going to give you the SparkNotes version with the estimated total annual cost, which is $17,587 per month for 12 months, which is approximately $211,044. I think I said that right. And then on the back page, we have the assumptions for the total project cost, which is going to be about $1.5 million on a 20-year loan at 6%, which will cost us about $10,700 with a monthly payment, and that's for 3 million gallons a month. And the cost breakdown is below that. Brian, I'm going to defer to you on this one because
Sure.
you know these numbers better.
So basically where we're at is you guys had asked us to do kind of a conceptual understanding of whether or not this thing even made sense. So we made an estimate, did some work to estimate what the total project cost. We're thinking about 1.5. We don't have the money to cover that, especially if we do the water tower as well, so we'd have to borrow that money. I just did a quick 20-year loan at 6%. That came up $10,700 a month, and we use 3 million gallons a month as our average. Our current monthly cost for Illinois American Water is we're paying monthly $2,100 for 3 million gallons, or annually $252. So if we move to Pleasant Valley, those numbers drop about 20%. So we'd be saving about $3,500 a month. So not enough to make the full payment. But keep in mind, in January, that's the next numbers. Illinois American Water said they're going to go up another 24%. So if they do that, then our savings goes up to 48%, or $8,500 a month. And that assumes no increases by Pleasant Valley. And when I looked at it, it looks like they're averaging somewhere around 7%. They're probably doing more like 15 every 2 years, but it averages out to like 7.5% a year, which is still better than what we've seen from Illinois American Water. But point is Pleasant Valley is still going to go up. So if Illinois American Water goes up in January, and we had a monthly new payment to do this work for $10,700, and we're saving $8,500 in new pricing from Pleasant Valley, then we'd have $2,200 a month in new cost for the next 20 years. But I guess the point is if Illinois American goes up 24%, that's an additional $5,000 that we're going to pass on to the customer. It's cheaper to pass off $2,200 to the customer than it is to pass off $5,000 to the customer. So conceptually, I think this project makes sense. I guess my thoughts are there's nothing that says we have to do it today, tomorrow, or the next day. But this is what the numbers are telling us. I guess my thoughts is let's wait and see what happens in January. Not that far off with Illinois American Water. If they go up to 24%, then we know what the actual savings is going to be. And then after that, the next step would probably be to do an engineering project to validate the numbers and make sure that we haven't missed anything. I don't know. Thoughts, reaction?
What is the could engineering costs vary greatly if we were to start with the engineering now versus past January? I don't really know much about construction materials, but I'm assuming that's an off month.
Yeah, you're debating, or the question you're asking, is there any value in us starting the engineering part now versus waiting? Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think?
This is kind of an early whatever, I think, but do they, or most of their sales, you probably don't know this, is most of their sales to residential, or are they breaking down, like, are we one of 5 entities that are going to be getting water for them, or are we their biggest?
We would be close to their biggest. Would be
okay.
So Limestone Walders, when they've
Right.
got that tower over there,
Right.
we'd be about the same size as them.
So would they
And they do all the garbage.
would you think they would obtain the fact that, like, since we'd be one of their major customers for 10, 15 years, our first 10 or 15 years with them of our loan, would they be willing to put we won't raise your percentage any more than 4.5% every year instead of the normal 7% of everybody else? Would they think they'd be willing to maybe obtain that idea?
I found them to be very reasonable, and we've worked with them to this point. So I think they'd certainly listen. And I think it's a worthwhile
It's a good
point.
idea.
Brian, in these numbers, does that include electricity for pump stations?
It does not. It doesn't include new costs for new operational costs. So yes, there would be some additional, like if we needed the ongoing cost to run the pump stations or whatever. So yeah, so that would be cost that would be in here. But that stuff would come out of the engineering study as well. The 1.5 number is probably a little high too. So, like I said, we just wanted to do something to determine, is it even worth considering?
Yeah. Because we talked about it, when we did talk about it, we were talking about having 2 pump stations, correct? One out on the line coming in.
Yeah, I don't know enough about engineering to know. That would be the determination, is how much can the pump push the water to, so.
How much pressure it gives.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think when we were talking with Caleb brought it up and said that would probably need to be 2, but like Caleb is.
There'd be additional electricity and maintenance costs for those things. That's not built into this assumption operating costs. Yeah, that's fair.
You have to have one to get it here and then one to get it up into the tower.
Wouldn't they be responsible for getting it to us? Yeah.
I mean, it would be part of. They're willing to share
Yeah,
in
how's
the
that
cost
gonna
of. They're willing to share in the cost of bringing it over here. It's just going to change the rate.
Are we going to be responsible for that line from over there all the way to here?
We are.
So it'd be our deal for the pump.
Huh?
We'd be responsible for the pump then.
If the rates were where they are now, and it's a 20% savings, I'm kind of iffy. But if they go up 24% again,
Term.
That's
This is a 20, 30 year deal.
understand it.
I feel. I mean, it might not be that much different for 10 or 15 years, but
I almost don't care about those 10 or 15.
right, what's it going to be in 30 years, 25 years?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we
I hear
only
you.
know where Illinois Americans got
Yeah,
it.
every
We
year.
already
are now.
But it's our
How often the stuff
water
breaks down, we have to fix that stuff.
I don't
And the
remember.
pump
57.
stations
I
that
have
they
to,
fix.
the bills are in there.
I think the total bill is what, 75 for minimum or
The
something
total
like
bill is
that.
7404, but that's.
7404, so take 14 off roughly for garbage, and I don't know what sewer is.
Yeah, I don't know. Off the top, 20, I think.
So 35 off that number is, so 35-ish. Maybe. And what's,
I saw it the other day.
$650 customers.
Mhm.
So if you passed off, let's say my number is low on the 2,200, I use $3,000. If you pass that off to every customer, it'd be $4.50 a month. Versus the $5,000 you're going to pass off from Illinois American anyway, right?
Right.
And you're going to have to do that temporarily anyway, I guess.
So we're responsible for all the line coming from them to us, but they'll be able to take advantage of some customers in between those areas, right?
Yeah, potentially. There's a handful of people that might want to.
That's what I was asking. Are we getting that advantage, or
It'll be our water.
Yeah, they are lying.
our customer?
Yeah, they would be our customers.
So like our load.
Murphy, which I watch him haul water every day. I'm sure they'd be willing to be on.
And with the engineering study, they'd also, look at, placing a fire hydrants for fire protection, things like that, because that's an increase too, because the Logan Trevoli is not hauling in water. That'll help lower the insurance costs for those residents.
I mean, we're in November now. My thoughts are, let's see what happens. And we'll know in December because they'll send us communications if they're going up to 24% or whatever.
Well,
Yeah, didn't you also have a representative reach out to them? So I mean, maybe there's going to be something with that too, right? Nothing moves quick.
And my guess is we're going to see something in January. I don't know if it's going to be the full 24% or not. But I don't think there's anything wrong with waiting
I agree.
30 days and see what that number looks like, and then we can decide in January-ish if we want to do the full engineering study and move forward.
I do like the idea though of can we see if they would commit to like a maximum of like 4.5% or
Yeah, I think
something
that's
like that.
fair.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I had 2,700 gallons, and mine was 49.
Just to take a step backwards. Ouch! Yeah.
Hey, Brian, that hurts.
You okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The
Laughing at Brian.
when we redid the administrative portion of the code book, we put a policy in there that if we had to approve something in short term, if we had 3 people, the mayor, the finance person, if it's a spend, and the person with responsibility, that they could approve a project. Those guys did approve the project for the replacing the water main on First Street. But it probably would be good to vote, this group to vote and say that, you're willing to go ahead and move forward with that project. And then these aren't actual expenses at this point. They're not invoices. These are just estimates. But when the invoices come in, we'll put them in front of you. But basically, we're asking for roughly $55,000 to redo the water main on First Street down to Elbert, change it from a 2.5-inch or 2-inch pipe to.
Can we vote on it? We don't have it down for a vote.
Yeah, we do.
No, you just sent me an email about it.
Okay. Well, then never mind. I guess technically we don't necessarily, with the new rule, we don't have to vote on it. And you guys are going to see all the invoices anyway when they come in.
We'll have to
So
prove it.
replace it from the school.
So basically, the
Down to
school all the way down to Elbert.
Always the dead end road, right?
Yep. Yep. And then it'll go back into the loop, the main loop. So, yeah. So basically, from the corner, what is that road, Nora?
Yep.
From Nora all the way down First, around the corner to Elbert.
Our guys are doing that one?
Yep.
It'll be busy for a while.
You're freaking out.
Okay.
That was it for sanitary and water, by the way.
Plastic.
I'm assuming, I don't know. Do you know?
I did see it.
They were supposed to. The truck broke down. We were supposed to get the materials today, so they're not coming tomorrow because the truck broke down.
There were guys down there at the water main, like on my way here. I saw some guys standing there. I don't know what they were doing.
4-inch? Is that what they're going with?
6.
6.
They boring it or laying it?
I think they're boring
There's
most
a
of
bore
it. Yeah.
thing right here from Dawson Dirt Work.
I don't see 6 inch.
Yeah.
I see 6-inch pressure tapping.
Here, right
Yeah,
here.
I'd have to shoot it
Well,
in 3 bores,
6-inch water
approximately
break.
300 feet each.
Yeah, but I'm talking on here. Because this shows 4 inch.
Yeah. So I guess the project's basically approved using the new process. But you guys will get the actual invoices when they come in. And you may hear some belly aching because there's probably going to be a portion of a half a day where that dead end Albert is going to be shut down. People won't be able to get in and out. And we are communicating personally with every home so that they know. And I know there's one handicapped individual down there as well, so we're talking to them to make sure that everybody can know what's going on.
That's it under our Chris?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So this ground, Mr. Weaver?
I don't have anything.
Now he's Mr. Weaver.
I don't have anything there either.
Sweet.
You got the cook job.
We are starting to work on parameters for next year's MFT program because we want to send a bid out to Roger. I think we can pick up the 13th, I think, as well.
CEDC, Mr. Sidak.
All right, we got a grant funding disbursement approval. This is for project 24C6. Mr. Gilbert Evans. They repaired and repaved parking lots on south and north of their building. No construction company funds. Our cost came out to $15,000. They got all their T's crossed and their I's dotted. So if there are no further objections, I'll make a motion that we approve the disbursement of $15,000 to project 24C6.
I'll make that motion.
Maybe a second.
All right. Oh, I thought you said we needed him. Never mind. I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by
I thought you
Sidak,
said we
second
need
by
a motion.
Johnson.
Did you say you need a motion? Am I losing my mind here?
You said you'll make a motion.
He'll make. Okay.
He'll approve the motion. Did you say?
I'm losing my mind, guys.
What did you say?
So I'll make the motion.
Okay. To do what?
To approve the disbursement of $15,000.
Okay, approve the
It's the gum.
Just DISBURS.
Well, I was like, wait, did I not hear?
Project 24C6.
I have a motion by Sidak, second by Johnson. Any further comments, questions? And we'll roll call. Pearson?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Sidak?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Miller?
Yeah.
Motion carries.
So you'll send signed paperwork, original to Sarah, electronic copies to me, and I guess that's it. Shauna, do you want to? I'll send it to Glenn.
I sent it to the lawyer last time.
That's fine.
Okay.
You sent it to Shauna.
Well, Shauna and Brooke.
That's fine. And I'll handle Glenn.
Excuse me. All right, so for the next thing, I'm reading the email, make sure I say this appropriately. DNN Auto Body basically had a project to do with their, asphalt.
Yeah, I can give you the background. They told us that they were going to redo their parking lot behind the building. And we told them, hey, you can get a grant, and we'll help you with that, a commercial grant. We would have paid up to $15,000, I'm sure, to help them do that. Nice business in town. And they were very nice. They said, you know what, no, that money should be used for projects that are along 116 that give people, more visibility to the town or whatever. So we're going to pay for it ourselves. And we're like, okay, no problem. But what they didn't take into consideration is the people that put the parking lot in didn't take it all the way out to the road and blended it back into the road with the asphalt. So they had this concrete that was 3 feet from the road. It was in the right of way, which is ours anyway. And so they came to us and they said, can you help us get that blending back in and do that work for us? And so again, I used the new process. I sent it to Ryan and the mayor and to Zach, because I thought we could use TIF dollars to do it. It's, what is it, 30? I can't remember the number. $4,500. Yeah. $4,500 to do it. So basically all we did is take and hire Hair to put blacktop from the new, their new parking lot behind the building and bring it out to the road. And the reason we needed to go quickly is because they weren't able to get the towed cars back in there behind the building in order to bring them in to do the work. So we needed to move quickly to get it done. So what we were saying is we probably would approve 15 grand for them anyway. We're talking about using 45 grand and taking out of the TIF dollars. 4,500, excuse me, out of the TIF money to help them with that. So I guess
So it does say here that there's a photo attached, but we approved it already, did we not?
We did. But this is the actual invoice, so I guess we're asking to write the check. you guys approve the project, this is the invoice. We're asking you guys to approve the payment of the check, which we'll do on the repair of the road too. When the invoices come in, we'll bring them to you as well. Any questions? Concerns?
That's my line.
Oh, sorry.
You stealing his thunder.
They were very kind. They actually sent us a nice thank you note.
Oh, that case, definitely is. I will make a motion that we approve the invoice of $4,500 to, who is it to?
There.
There's Blacktop and Silk.
Second. A motion by Sinek, second by Pearson. Any further discussion? Comments, questions? We'll roll call it. Johnson?
Yes.
Sinek?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Miller?
Yep.
Pearson? Yes. Motion carries. And nothing to sign for you.
And the next thing for CDC, you should all have this, it's a 2025 CDC BDD redevelopment program timeline. It's just got a nice list of bullet points that Brian has typed out on basically how the program is going to run next year and who is involved with which portions for that. So,
The only change we made is we're asking for all of the applications to be in by April, the end of April. Because what happened in the blast is you leave it open and you get a better project after you've already allocated the money. And we're getting most of them in anyway up front, so we asked to have them all in so that we could review them all at one time and make sure we're giving the money to the projects we think are the best ones. But we'll start that communication soon.
and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Sinek. Mr. Miller?
We have quite a few calls. October 14th to the 17th. 5 calls total, 2 motor vehicle stops, 1 county fire, 1 burglary, and 1 business check. October, that's kind of jumping around, so I don't really.
What was that last date, 14?
14th to the 17th. 5 calls total. The 24th and 25th, there was 9 calls. Suspicious vehicle, obstructing roadway, 3 motor vehicle stops, disorderly conduct, investigation follow-up, business check, and a 911 hang-up. And then 10/27 to 11/8 was 5 calls, 3 motor vehicle stops, and 2 wild suspicious vehicles. So nothing too crazy. That's all I have on that.
And then from October 1st to October 31st, there were 11 traffic stops. No citations were issued. Anything else, man?
No.
Other business.
So I left with the assignment last time to benchmark what other towns have done for the UTV ordinances. We looked at a few. We kind of liked Farmington's. What they had done is taken their golf carts and UTVs and combined them into one ordinance. So we chose to take our existing golf cart ordinance and add UTVs to it, and that's what you've got in the packet. So basically it makes UTVs not four-wheelers, and there's definitions. The golf carts and basically side-by-sides would be legal on town roads, and there would be inspection requirements and so forth. So there'll be some work we have to do once it's said and done. We're going to have to put the inspection process in place and get the stickers and stuff for the vehicles.
which Tracy told me where they get their stickers in Farmington, so I can contact the same people.
And then probably what we would do is hold a day where anybody that had a UTV and wanted one, they could come up, get it inspected and so forth.
Either be.
It's kind of a bummer we don't have the farm and shopper anymore.
I know.
Put stuff like that in.
Yeah. Used to love the shopper.
Denise was
It's
just
always
talking
good
about
to put
that.
stuff like that in.
Now we got 600 people on the app.
Yeah. But that's something, we'll push out.
So if we want to approve or make UTVs legal, here's our chance.
You know, I was historically not a fan, but there has been an overwhelming amount of people who have been really pushing through that Tyler Bowers, friends and acquaintances through town. I had never really thought about it, but a lot of them have been, when they do talk to me, they're talking about their businesses for snow removal. So just think I think it's worth noting that there is a legal route to go, which is what we're trying to do here.
Well, this doesn't say anything about any type of commercial. This is all privately owned. Do we need to have something in there for commercial?
And that was the other thing I
UTVs?
thought. So what is the liability, right?
Yeah.
If something happens where they're pushing it around and then, they're using it for like pushing snow around and there's damage done, or a car's hit, or God forbid, that's not our code. That's the only thing that I have heard, or that I thought I would bring up today.
Shawnee, you can weigh in. I think a UTV is a UTV regardless of how they use it. I don't know that we need a separate statement if they're using it commercially, do we?
I don't think we're authorizing
that
it.
affects everybody that has a pickup truck to plow snow at this time, or tractor, or
Or anything else.
when I take my tractor and clean out my whole road.
I think it's a good question. I don't know that we need to do it.
Yeah, I don't think you need to specify that unless you want to prohibit it. Then you would have to put something in, but, or if you want any other parameters, but otherwise it says, that they can't go over a certain speed and they can only be on designated roads and things like that. So I don't think you need to unless you want to be more specific.
I would think the liability is on them, right? If you're removing somebody's snow, you should have your own liability insurance. I don't think that's on us
And it does say in the ordinance that they have to have the same insurance that motor vehicles have in the state of Illinois.
Don't they have to sign something saying that the village is not liable?
Well, we can ask that.
I thought that was in the ordinance.
Is it? I can't remember. I've read so much stuff.
Yeah, there's something in
I
here.
think there's something in the ordinance that says that.
Oh, but they signed something saying we're not liable for anything?
Yeah, it does say that.
Yes.
Says that they're to be operated from sunrise to sunset and shall not be operated in inclement weather, nor when visibility is impaired by weather.
I guess we're going to have to create that liability form. Would that also be in there for golf carts as well? Because I don't think we do that today.
I think I'm like you, Brian. I've read so many code provisions lately.
Insurance is in there, driver's license.
Section 7199 penalty under 5 so the village of the city shall not under any circumstance be liable for any expenses incurred by the applicant for golf course compliance. Oh, that's not.
That's expense
That's not
incurred, that's not liability.
Could we just say or liability? Could you just add 2 words and make it kosher?
That's an attorney question.
Bullet 5,
On which section are you in?
section 71.99, I don't know, column 5, it says the village of Hannah City shall not under any circumstances be liable for any expense incurred. Could you say expense or liability incurred? And would that suffice our needs here?
The concern is are we liable in any way for what they do? Or if somebody's injured or hurt on it?
Because we permitted them.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could put that in there. I did not look up that specific, like a statute reference or anything for that, but I can look into that further and get back to you on that.
So can we vote to approve with liability, or do we want to wait?
We talked about the sign that'll go on the back. Where is that? Is that the slow moving
Yeah.
thing?
Well, that's a slow moving vehicle sign, but
A slow moving emblem on the rear of the golf course.
Why would we have to have that on UTVs, liability, if we don't have to have it on motorcycles or cars?
Yeah, we don't sign anything when we get our driver's license.
Yeah.
Maybe we do.
I mean, I don't think that would be an issue.
Shauna, do you know when we looked at other, nobody else had liability language in their ordinances on this stuff?
No, the only thing is mentioned that they have to have the same kind of liability insurance as motor vehicles. So they do have to carry that and show that they have that. That was, I didn't see anything in your previous golf cart.
Okay.
Or I couldn't find Bartonville's.
They'll have to carry that insurance for the UTVs. To your point, the slow moving vehicle, the Farmington, what they did is that's where they asked them to put the sticker. Is their registration sticker they put on the slow moving vehicle sign on the back of it, so it's easy to see.
I didn't know if that needed to be spelled out. Or if that's where you have to put it.
Now we can do that when we do the inspections. And
Yeah.
put it on that.
And in the inspections, we do ask for proof of insurance, correct?
yes.
I think we're good then, right?
Well, are we leaving section 7103 number 2?
Sunrise to
That's the most we've
sunset.
looked at any ordinance ever.
Oh, not be operated in inclement weather. That's not gonna be.
So you're saying if they're going to be plowing
Certainly,
snow,
fun snow. That's gotta go.
I mean, if their whole purpose was
Yeah.
to get this was to allow them, which they've been doing for years, so
I think
we
what-
technically really don't even need to approve it because they've been illegally doing it for years.
they
Now we can
probably
make some
put that
money
in
off
for
of
people that are out playing in
finding
the snow.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but if they're
Yeah,
gonna,
no,
if
that's
that's
a
their
thing.
whole purpose, that's the whole reason they're
You
bothering
gotta
him.
follow the road laws.
Yeah.
Think about
Well, I'm just saying, yeah, because, oh, sorry,
where's this at?
Right here.
7103.
-2.
7103.
2.
I would hate to take it completely out because that just opens it up to okay, go
Well,
right
yeah.
wherever you want to.
But it's only until who enforces.
But then we also don't want to put in there unless for commercial reasons, because then that's going to open us up to a different liability.
here's an idea. Additional $500 commercial license.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like anybody's gonna
They
do that.
do it right now. And they
They're
don't
just
pay
gonna
us
do what they
anything.
want to do.
Donna, so the question is in 7103 number
Get 'em.
2, some people are going to be using this for snow removal.
Oh, and they'll definitely be using it after sunset. He doesn't leave his house till 10 o'clock at night.
So
And you
the question is, should we strike sunrise to sunset? And should we strike impaired visibility and impaired weather?
We can do operate.
That's up to you guys if you want. I mean, I took the golf cart ordinance, what you had the rules for your golf carts, and just, modified it with the UTVs. But if you want the same thing, would you want those restrictions on golf carts and not on UTVs?
Can you just add the phrasing on public roadways? I don't care if they're in their driveway.
Well, but they're gonna have to go on a public roadway to get to remove somebody's snow somewhere, probably.
Yeah.
And I'm sure,
We could say unless
The rule's only as good as you enforce it, and they probably have it on there just so if people are off thrashing in the snow, they do have an ordinance that they can hold over their head and say, you're not supposed to do that.
you make a good point.
Nobody's gonna be running around saying you're riding in the rain or the snow. Are they?
So one option is to leave it in and not enforce
You
it.
gotta keep it real.
well, and that's just it. If we're not enforcing it, why are we even gonna do it?
Well, it's there for a case needed. If it is a problem. If you got 20 side-by-sides running around doing donuts, then you have an ordinance that says you're not supposed to ride it in inclement weather.
We've got.
Yeah.
It's
Well, we also have an ordinance, you're not supposed to ride your UTV yet. The church's parking lot got destroyed.
Well, it's
Okay,
because
but
that's
we're still
the
going
point.
to
We're not
make the
enforcing
law.
it.
Just because people break the law doesn't mean it shouldn't be there.
Yeah, well,
Roll with it, and if it needs something changed
keep
later,
them at
change it.
55 and you go 60 and you get arrested for that. Not usually. You break some law. I mean, it's a law,
Yeah.
everybody breaks it. Usually
I mean,
doesn't.
we can make an exception. I know in the new code in Title 3, I believe we said for, farming operations, they could, be on the roads and go from farmland to farmland. So if you want something like that for snow removal, we could put that in.
I think we leave it as
But
is and move
yeah.
on down the road.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm thinking
For me,
I am gonna be on the right side of history here. I will make a motion that we adopt an ordinance authorizing the operation of utility task vehicles on the streets within the village of Anna City and amending the village of Anna City Code, Title 7, Traffic Code, Chapter 71, recreation.
I'll second it.
And
Make some copies and hand that out at your house to get it framed.
What's the ordinance number?
Ordinance number would be 24-11-01. This, when do these ordinances go into effect, Shauna? After we approve it?
This one, since it has a penalty in it, it's effective 10 days after its passage, publication, and approval.
Okay.
Put something on
Sign
the
act
app.
approval, Johnson second.
Yes.
Any further questions, comments? And we'll roll call it. Sidak,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Miller?
Yeah.
Pearson?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
So original to Cassandra, electronic
Plug in the
copies to
control
me
now.
and Shauna.
I'm just gonna post. Didn't she say we had to post it?
Shauna, does this have to be posted somewhere in Peoria County or anything?
Mm,
I think
Yeah,
we have to
I think so.
community.
You have to wait the 10 days because of the penalty
I understand.
listed in it.
Okay, you said you
We'll take
did
care
the
of it.
original?
Just need the original.
So, code book,
I'm sick of reading code. What is this? This was only 30 pages. The Title IV that we just sent you is like 101 pages. Enough. So this is regulating everything, vehicles and everything, traffic and parking, basically the roads. I sent you guys a note of the major changes. I can read those to you if you want me to remind you. Is that helpful or no? The one thing I would say that could be controversial, well, let me back up. The UTV language that we just approved, we've got an ordinance on the UTV language. We're not going to put it in Title III if you approve it tonight until we codify the book, and then we'll add that ordinance language in. The one thing that's controversial maybe in here is we added that you could have no more than 5 vehicles parked at a residence at any given time. And the reason we put that in,
I might break that one.
the reason we put that in is we have a couple of places that
And 6 or 8
that are operating
mini garage.
Does it say long term?
repair vehicles. I mean, they're repairing cars that they're on their property. They have 8, 9, 10 vehicles there, and they're
Where's that at? What page?
I don't know because I just had it in my notes.
My question is, what defines vehicle? Like, I have a trailer. Does that count?
No, we spent a lot of time on definitions.
These whole first few pages are.
Okay.
And basically, I should say automobiles, 5 automobiles. So trucks, cars.
What if you have a car?
Yeah, it's not. It's like on a continuous basis. So, and again, it goes back to we wouldn't. If somebody's having a party, or if they have family in from out of town. It's when we know somebody's abusing the issue, and that's not unprecedented. We also took out the requirement to park in the direction of traffic because we have some older people that park with their driver's side door close to their house so they don't have to walk around in the street. We put on all of the stop, yield, speed limit, and parking signs and their locations. So we went out and did all that. We put in specific information about the railroad property and how that's governed. We added the point Tony wanted, safety hazards can be dealt with immediately. So if we find something in the traffic, there's a safety hazard that's deemed a safety hazard, we can deal with it immediately. We don't have to follow our normal code enforcement process. So again, going back to the big picture, Title I is governing all things us. Title II is zoning. Title III is roadways, traffic, parking, cars, vehicles, all that. Title IV, which you now have to review, is residence and residential property. Title V will be businesses. Title VI will be the public works stuff that I talked about. That's kind of the gray area. And then Title VII is permit and fee schedule. So we need to approve this and say it's going to go into effect. And then once all of the titles are done, we'll come back and codify the whole book. And then the other good news is we won't be using American Legal anymore. We have a process where we'll be doing it ourselves, and so we'll be saving the money with American Legal, and we'll handle our own code book internally. Questions, comments?
No, sir.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Pearson, second by Weaver. Any further discussion or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
The other good thing about this is when this is all done, we'll be actually have the ability to govern, implement. We've got processes in place now. We've got good rules. It's clear. We have the ability to go out and implement the stuff that we're putting in place. So,
Clear as mud.
yep.
Better than it was where you'd have 2 different chapters talking about the same thing. So,
Yeah, and sometimes in conflict.
yeah. Our next meeting is on November 9th, 2024.
No,
19th.
19th is what I said.
you said 9.
19th, sorry. The caucus is on
December 2nd.
Monday, December 2nd
December
Yes.
2nd.
at 6 p.m.
December 2nd at 6 p.m.
What did I say? Citizens Party. What are you?
I don't know. You have to tell me. Do you know what we are?
I got it. I can't ever remember.
It's hanging on the door.
One's here and, alright, let's see. Citizens Party is at the Park District. And
The People's Party,
People's Party is
the village.
at the village.
And who is what?
Let's see, we have the mayor and Chris Johnson and Zach Sidek and Eric Miller.
Can you repeat what? I guess I'm confused. What day was it? I thought you said the 3rd in the email, but
I did, and
Okay.
I told you tonight. I said, "Oh, made the wrong date."
So what
Monday,
it was Monday. Okay, and it was at
December 2nd,
Monday the 2nd at what time?
6 p.m.
Okay, I thought you
Can't
said
be-
8. Okay.
Can't be.
Well,
listed.
we had to change. I changed it to 8 because for
We
some
thought it was
reason I
more.
thought it was Tuesday,
Got
but
it.
it's actually Monday.
So I'm not losing my mind here.
No, I lost it.
I mean,
And
that's
then
everything.
me and
We
Tony,
went there.
we are where at location? The Citizens. What building's that? That's the
Park
Citizen.
District.
So just like the daycare over, or the
It'll be
gym.
the side entrance over there.
The side
Right where the
entrance.
day room is.
Got it.
Where the seniors hold their cards and coffee or whatever they do up there.
And
I had no idea that existed.
Eric and Zach would be in this building.
Huh?
You'll be in this
I
building.
thought you said I was at that one.
Where were you last time?
No, I asked you where you
I don't
were
think I've ever
last
been
time.
to one.
He hasn't been elected yet.
I've been elected.
No, he
I got
didn't. He was
18
on
votes
the
and
Been
last.
here longer than I have.
Huh?
Then you have been. You've been elected. You were.
Yeah, but
People
his
go
was
on my
his first election was the same as
fat people.
yours,
That people.
I think I was.
but it was 2 years.
I think I was the one over there.
I want to know who's going to get
Okay.
the most votes.
I might be putting a sign in my yard. Just so y'all know, I'm going for it.
Not for 10 days.
Yeah, there's
My money's on Rod. Most people probably know Rod or Eric.
Rod's
That's
already
people know
was
Eric.
reelected
Caleb won
already,
last time,
and
though,
so was
4 or
Ryan.
Yeah. What?
You've already been reelected, so.
I got side by side, so
And-
focus on the
There-
side.
Yeah, you got some fun now.
I got community
Coming up
clout.
Eric and Zach,
Eric and Zach will be here. Okay.
and then all we have is on the citizens
Then Rod,
is
Ryan, and
Chris, and that's
Citizens and me.
yeah, because
So
somebody
Rod-
it's just
Ryan and Caleb are on the same 4-year.
yeah,
Okay, good. As long as we're on the same sheet of music.
yep. Well, and it gets messed up when you have somebody that steps down when they just started.
So do you have anybody, have you talked to anybody about, well, first let's go
No.
ahead and finish the meeting.
No,
And then at 6 p.m. sharp, doors are locked at 6 p.m. No one can enter no one can enter the caucus after 6 p.m. So if nobody has anything else to bring to the board this evening, meeting adjourned. Thank you, Shauna.
Thank you.